quite a lot today. I'm squinting. Bear with me. Oh. I'm not blind, but my eyes are bad. Hi guys. If you're in the chat, please say hello. I hope you're all doing well. Let me just get my. It is unseasonably warm. Hi Yala. It is unseasonably warm today. Hello. Don't worry, I have my laptop today, so I will be throwing out the trolls. Trust and believe. Please say hello in the chat. Let's give it a few minutes. I did say 5:30. Let me give people that are joining a few minutes. So, for those of you that are joining my chat, hello. We will be reacting live to Duchess Megan's podcast this afternoon. Just waiting for some more people to join. Hey Sandra, how are you? I'm trying to get comfortable. It's unseasonably warm in London today, so I have a lot of these. All these trolls are so predictable. So predictable. Why is it always sex? Why is it never something interesting? Why is it always something sexual? Why not something interesting? Hi, Junior. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Electra Storm. Yeah, I imagine you would have. Normally, I would listen to it while I'm working, but today has been weird. And I thought that I would love to react with the community. So I especially waited just to react with you, lovely people. I haven't listened to it. I'm someone that, oh, thank you, Dolores. I'm someone that doesn't like spoilers. So if I reacted to it, I couldn't react twice. Hi, Junior. How are you? I'm just going into the live from my laptop. Oh, thank you, Life on Jupiter. You're so sweet. I don't think I am. I'm too. Okay, let me get rid of why so serious because let me just get rid of this clown. Like I said, laptop is. Oh, bless you, Junior. Aren't we all? Let me get rid of this individual. How do I hide user on this channel? Yep. I'm actually a bit surprised about the amount of troll and trolling that is here. Is it because I go live regularly? The hell? Bless so messy. Oh, thank you. No, it's Sister Locks. Let me just hide. I'm always very embarrassed about my edges. Traction alopecia. Oh, thanks, yeah. I'm doing well, James. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. East Tennessee. Wow. East Tennessee. Oh, bless you. Jesus. That is so sweet. Thank you. You guys are so sweet in the chat today. Wow. Okay. Please. Lovely to see you all. Please send hello. Please send hearts. Hi, Junior. I'll give you one more minute. Mari, hello from Switzerland. I'll give it one more minute, then we can get started. Sorry for me squinting. I barely got enough sleep. I've been staring at a screen with very poor lighting, so my eyes are now like this. So bear with me. I am a redneck. I don't know what that means. Americans in the chat, what does that mean? I mean, I know what a redneck is, but what do you mean when you say, hi, Jack Nickerson from Canada? Hello. Hello, my beautiful people. I love having all of you here. Thank you so much for your support. And it's so lovely to, like, react and do these things directly for Megan. I really do appreciate this community. Let me remove this troll. You guys are so good. You guys are so great. Hi, from Los Angeles. Oh, wow. Bloody hell. Hello. Wow. Okay. It says only 18 people are here. So it's amazing to see all these people in the chat. Hi. So I'm about to start the with Love Megan now. Just give me one sec. Let me just cast my. Sorry, guys. I had to set up the. It was frozen. Sorry, that was me. There was something wrong with it. Wow, people have dropped. That's unfortunate. It's okay. Even if there are only 6 of us here, we will carry on. Hmm? Hiya. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I was trying to get the podcast going. Can you guys hear me? It says no sound. Can you hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me by saying hi. Hi, Mashar. Thanks, Electra. My, I need to get speakers. Okay, hello, Ilavonga. Wow. No sound, Vladimir Udruski. Okay, I don't. People say they hear me though. So, okay, guys, I'm about to press play, and maybe I will. Yeah, I'll press play, and I'll keep the screen on me, and then we're going to listen to Megan's podcast today. She has somebody called Heather Hassan. I haven't heard from her. I haven't heard of this person before, but you know what? The beauty of this experience is we get to meet or hear from female founders we probably have never heard from, and that's part of the whole process, right? To encourage women, to not make you to make you know that, look, you aren't the only one that's trying to start a business. You aren't the only person trying to be a founder. Yeah, so are we ready? Let's get to it. And then of course I will pause frequently when they go into ad breaks for commentary, but all in all, we will try and get through it, and we will share thoughts afterwards. So yeah, if you guys are ready, let's do it.
On LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/female founder. That's linkedin.com/female founder to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. This episode of Confessions of a Female Founder is brought to you by Booking.com. If you have a vacation rental or a place you're considering renting out, here's a question for you. Do you want to earn more with consistent bookings, reach new markets, and turn hosting into a steady income? If the answer is yes, head to Booking.com. Booking.com makes it easy for you to run your growing business. You can chat with guests, accept or decline bookings, and have total control over your property's calendar and finances. It's hosting on your terms. For the bookings you've dreamed of, list your property on Booking.com.
Lemonada. Honestly, I still do think I'm in the minutia, and I think that is the key to success sometimes. I think you have to ebb and flow from 0 feet, right? Boots on the ground, all the way to 60,000 feet. It's a really hard skill set to master, but I think it's key for success.
I'm Megan, and this is Confessions of a Female Founder, a show where I chat with female entrepreneurs and friends about the sleepless nights, the lessons learned, and the laser focus that got them to where they are today.
No time to get down, cause I'm moving up. No time to get down, cause I'm moving up. No time to get down, cause I'm moving up.
So as I've been building as ever, oh, let me tell you, it is just a constant state of recalibration. There's joy in that, but we are always in motion. And if you're a founder yourself, you know exactly what I mean, because we're moving at warp speed, problem solving, filling gaps in real time, scratching a million tiny, tiny things off of your to-do list, but not in that fun way like a lotto ticket. And then all of a sudden, you're switching gears and you're thinking about the big picture strategy and where you want to be in 5 or 10 years. And oftentimes, all of this, every single beat of that, happens in the same day, sometimes in the same hour. But I guess that's where the magic is, right? Because it can get messy. And the best founders are not afraid to get their hands dirty. And I don't mean play dirty. I mean, when it's clean up on aisle 5 time, you are the first person there with a mop.
I'm chasing mail trucks, I'm sitting in hospitals, I'm selling out of hospitals. That's how we sold. I sat there and I sold right in front of a hospital, in front of an ER at 7 in the morning and 7 at night.
Heather Hassan turned that hustle into something so much bigger. She built Figs alongside her co-founder, Trina Spear, and together they turned healthcare apparel into a billion-dollar business. In 2021, Figs made history as one of the first female-led companies to go public on the New York Stock Exchange, and by 2023, they were generating over $318 million in revenue on scrubs. They created scrubs that are stylish, colorful, comfortable, and they're made with their customers top of mind. Figs is the ultimate if you know brand. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. They're everywhere. I can't wait for you to hear this conversation with Heather. Let's dive in. How we doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
Really good. I'm so happy to meet you. When I had met Trina at G9, she may have mentioned it to you, I don't know. She was very surprised when I knew what Figs was. She said, I have a company called Figs. I said, I know Figs. She goes, do you actually? It was almost like a test.
How do you know? Yeah, Megan, how do you know Figs?
God, well, you guys have been around for a while.
Yeah.
But anytime that you see somebody either for, I think like it transcends beyond hospitals. In someone's home, they have on Figs uniforms, but also I work with Children's Hospital LA, and I see a lot of people wearing that. And you just saw that something shifted from when I was young and you'd be in any sort of medical setting and you saw very ill-fitting scrubs that were probably not comfortable to things are looking a little more tailored. And I remember going, wow, that looks so different. And just knowing it and clocking it and seeing the little Figs logo on there. So I just know your brand.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that you know who we are. Honestly, like I think what you've created is so amazing. I was just watching your show the other day too.
Ah, thank you.
Because I'm a terrible cook. I can't cook anything, but I'll bring you lemonade or something like in the juice world. I could do that.
Great.
But you can teach me something probably.
Yes, you'll have to come to the garden and we'll like whip something up. It's very easy. I think the whole point for me, and you'll probably speak to this too, is when you see something that is an easy solve in the everyday, that's not complicated, it's not fussy. How do you get your hands involved and change the way of thinking surrounding it so it doesn't feel daunting? You know, I see vegetables and I see takeout because I don't have time to cook every day. And I go, all right, but how do I still make this flattering and beautiful and present well and something that people find appetizing? And for you, go, hold on, this is something that you're doing every day. You're wearing this uniform every day. You're eating every day. How do we elevate that in a way that you feel really good about what you're doing and you feel proud about what you're wearing and you're able to have some functionality with it? In some ways, they're actually a different version of the same thing.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. I think, when you take something that's so simple in your everyday life and you elevate it and you make it elegant, I think that's what makes it so special.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what even like Andy Warhol did, right? In terms of like commercialization with, the Campbell soup.
Yes.
He took something so simple that you see every single day, but he elevated it, right? He made it into art, and now it's like, I don't know, $50 million on your wall. But yeah, in terms of Figs, that's exactly, what we did over 13 years ago. Is we took something that was like a commodity and like decommoditized it.
Yes, and also that it wasn't necessarily what you had been planning to do. You were in medical school, then you had to pivot to fashion and a handbag line, which is already in and of itself really fascinating. How does that happen?
Well, I think so. Since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a surgeon.
Okay, and what attracted you to that?
I just thought I would be really good at it because I'm so precise and I pay attention to detail. And I just thought that I'd be an incredible surgeon. But when I was in school, I did poorly. I mean, obviously organic chemistry is impossible. Anatomy was my favorite course. And I just didn't do well. I got all D's. Like I just didn't do well. So I said, okay, you know what? I guess this is not going to be my career path. I'm just not going to be a doctor. So I gave up. And when I graduated University of Wisconsin, I started my first company. I don't even think I was that employable even at the time. Like I just didn't think I was like an employable person. Like I tried really hard, but I don't know. I don't know why.
But how were you able to start your own company? How could you invest in yourself even then?
I didn't have any money. I didn't come from money. So I didn't really, I mean, in the sense of I had like 3 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I raised some capital. I was 21. And then I started my bag company.
Back up. For the people who are listening going, I'm 21, what do you mean you raised capital? How do you raise capital?
Honestly, it was at the time I didn't even know what VC was. I wasn't really in tune with anything with finance, like zero. I think it was just kind of innate. I just went to friends, family, people I didn't even know. I was in New York at the time, asked around, and then met some folks, and they gave me a little bit of cash, and I took that little bit of cash, and I, started this tiny company, moved to Italy, and then it didn't do very well. The bags are beautiful. They were gorgeous.
What kind of bags were they?
They were like just giant handbags. They were big, oversized handbags. Beautiful.
And by the way, if you were so drawn to precision and the dissection of something, the manufacturing of a very detailed bag or piece of clothing has that same level of almost surgical precision if you're talking about the craftsmanship of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, well, at least if I can't, be in surgery, at least I can do this.
Right.
But then it was actually I had a business partner at the time, and he passed away from lung cancer.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I mean, I was super young and he was a little older, and he was a wonderful human. And after that, I just folded the company and went straight to Kenya. So I was just going there because my business partner passed away. I was in the hospital for a really long time with them, and I just needed a break. And so then I went over to Kenya, and then I started going to these clinics, and I saw everybody not wearing scrubs. And I'm like, what's going on? How come nobody's wearing scrubs? This one nurse, she was a nurse for 25 years, never had a set of scrubs. The surgeon didn't have a set of scrubs. So then I came back to Los Angeles, and I'm like, you know what, let me donate some scrubs. Let me just give some scrubs to the people that I met out there. They've never had a set of scrubs before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I manufactured 10 and sent them out.
So you didn't just go and buy them, you manufactured 10 sets of scrubs.
Yeah, I just made literally 10 sets of scrubs in Los Angeles. They weren't stylish or anything. I just, put them together, hired a tailor because I can't sew. A terrible sewer.
I can sew, but not well. Enough to mend something. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, sewing's tough. It's very difficult.
Yeah, it's so funny. I went to college, I was a theater major, and part of the program was you couldn't just do the acting, you had to do soup to nuts every part of what a production would entail, which I actually think is incredible training for when you're running a team, because you appreciate what the sound person does and what the lighting person does, but wardrobe department and sewing was part of it too.
So good.
So I am comfortable with a sewing machine, but no, I couldn't sew 10 sets of scrubs without a pattern, I don't think.
Right? It's hard.
No, it's hard. It's okay. So you enlist someone to go and do that, and you say, I'm going to make these 10, I'm going to send them over.
Yep. And so the feedback from the surgeons, the nurses, they were just like, I can't believe you did this.
Mm-hmm.
We've never felt like we were on, part of a team before. And that's when the idea of FIGS came about. I started to sit in hospitals, like you can go and I just had a cup of coffee and I would watch, like almost like a method actor, right?
Okay, so wait, so this moment where you send the 10 out, at the onset, it's just, you see a need, you want to fulfill it for them, but because of their reaction, you realize, I want to dig deeper into this, and that's what makes you go and sit in hospitals and observe what's happening there in terms of their uniforms?
Yeah, it was how important it was to them, that uniform. And I was like, oh my God, wow, that is incredible. I mean, I did also make uniforms for children as well when I was in Africa before even the scrubs to put kids in school. So uniforms is I think been part of my DNA. And when I was even in pre-med, I wore these huge, massive scrubs, right? And I'm over a cadaver and I'm tying I I had a belt on top of it because, they gave us extra large scrubs. It was like a one size fits all.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
in my mind, I just thought the smartest people in the entire world, if there's not a company that supports them, we are all going to die. Like, we're all going to die. In the sense of, not because they don't have scrubs, but because we need to make them feel great, right?
Yes.
We need to make them
Care for the people that are caring for us.
That's right. So we can
Yeah.
have better patient outcomes, right?
It's really interesting that that becomes the catalyst for you.
Mm-hmm.
I love that because it's emotional, not economic.
Oh, I'm not even driven by that. And I should be a little bit more. But when I started Figs, right, I think, when I was sitting in hospitals and understanding the landscape of uniforms, right, of scrubs, and I sat there for hours and days and months just studying what they were wearing and why they were wearing it. Then, before I actually did go into this, I'm like, okay, what's the landscape look like? Because I'm just not going to go into something where it's if hospitals buy your scrubs for you, but then I realized that it was direct to consumer. So nurses and doctors, right, all healthcare professionals, they were purchasing their own scrubs. So then I'm like, okay, if they're buying their own scrubs, why are they buying bad scrubs? Right? Like, they need to make, right? It's like, okay, they're spending money out of their own pocket, right? Their hard-earned money.
Yeah,
Let's give them something that's better than anything that's out there.
for sure.
So that was how it all started, and then I met Trina.
Because she'd been on Wall Street, right? She still does more of the ops side and the business side. And you're more of the creative, I would guess.
I think actually Trina is very creative. I think she undersells herself, but she is very, very, very creative. She's my best buddy and a real fantastic business partner. It's because we come from two totally different places in the world that we see things very differently, and we always have very healthy conversations. But she's way more dynamic than the business person, the ops person, because she is very creative. And I would say that probably the same thing for myself. Because when you are running a company at that scale, you have to be both, right? You have to be. You can't just be like, okay, I'm going to do the numbers or I'm going to do this, right? You have to be able to do everything.
Well, especially at a startup phase, you're wearing so many hats. You have to think about the customer experience. You have to think about your P&L. You have to think about what your long-term trajectory is. I don't know if as you guys were conceiving this, and even, to my understanding, when you met, it wasn't with the intention of bringing on a business partner. You met, she was savvy, and then within a couple of weeks, you guys realized you should be partners and do this together. How did that happen?
Oh, she's relentless. She was, this came from Blackstone Private Equity, Harvard Business School, right?
Yeah.
And she said to me, and I'll never ever forget this. She said to me, she goes, Heather, I will do everything you don't want to do. And I said, everything? And she goes, everything.
Wow.
And I said, we were playing tennis and we shook hands, and that was it. I said, let's go.
Wow. And you believed her. You knew it was true.
Yeah, and it was true. And I thought it was really cool that she was, quitting this high-paying job on Wall Street, coming to work on scrubs. We're a little tiny company. She just believed in the vision. She's like, I see it.
Why do you think she believed in it, of all the things, of all the investments and all the opportunities and all the decks that get sent and all the possibilities and all the friends of a friend that say, oh, you should go and do this? Why was it this?
I have asked her that a few times, right? And I think she believed in me and the vision. And I think she knew that I was absolutely relentless, and I knew this was, that you can essentially create the world you want to live in. And she's like, I want to join this, and I want to create the world I want to live in, and let's do this together. I said, right on.
If you're a small business owner, you know that the person tasked with hiring for your company is probably also doing a million other things. Ideally, all their time and attention would be spent. If you're a small business, but come on, that is, you're small, come on. Interviews, small business, but come on, that is not real life. So if your HR team needs a little help, it's time to try LinkedIn Jobs. Here's how it works. LinkedIn's new feature helps you write job descriptions. Then you post it for free if you'd like. You can add a hashtag hiring frame to your profile picture and get 2 times more qualified candidates. Or you can pay to promote your job listing and get 3 times more qualified applicants. LinkedIn will quickly get your job in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. Based on LinkedIn data, 72% of small and medium-sized businesses using LinkedIn say that it helps them find high-quality candidates. Find out why more than 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring today. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/femailefounder. That's linkedin.com/femailefounder to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. You know those afternoons when the sun is shining, your to-do list for the day is checked off, and the only thing left on your calendar is to lounge outside with a cold drink and a great book? I love those types of days. And one reason I love them even more lately is because of Wayfair. Wayfair offers everything you need to make your outdoor living space absolutely perfect. From outdoor rugs and garden statues to bar tops and gazebos, even hot tubs and grills, not to mention sofas, lounges, and chairs. Wayfair's huge selection of home items makes it easy to find exactly what's right for you. Having a comfortable spot to cozy up and a beautiful table to set your drink on makes a world of difference. Plus, Wayfair offers free and easy shipping and delivery, even on the big stuff. No more huge fees for patio furniture. And they have product specialists ready to take your call if you have any questions. Shop a huge selection of outdoor furniture online. This summer, get outside with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home.
So you and Trina decide to be partners. She leaves Blackstone. You're getting your ducks in a row. You were getting feedback on some of the items, and they were saying they're just not fitting quite right.
Oh, yeah.
What was that moment at the beginning? Because as a founder, we all have that, oh my gosh, I've crossed every T and dotted every I, and how on earth did I miss that?
Yes, it was really funny. So
Funny now.
it's funny now.
Probably
It
not
was-
funny then.
It was then because we didn't have any money, so it was not funny. Yeah, so our first production run. So it took me about a couple years to actually design our fabric, and then I did our first production run, and at the time, right, I'm chasing mail trucks. I'm sitting in a hospital. I'm selling out of hospitals, right? That's how we sold, right? In front of it. That's I sat there and I sold right in front of a hospital, in front of an ER, 7 in the morning and 7 at night.
Oh, so that's really interesting. So you were there at a shift change.
At a shift change, yeah.
You knew when they'd be coming in and out of their cars,
Right.
and you could be there with your. I mean, what were people using to? Were they buying with cash, or did you have this swipe? What was? How were you doing sales?
So in the beginning, we didn't have Square, so that didn't exist yet.
Right.
So we just had cash.
Yeah, no one was tapping their phone.
No tapping. We didn't have any
Yeah.
tapping. I wish we did, but it was just cash. And I hired folks from Craigslist just to stand next to me so I could be like, here's the male, right? And here's the female, right? And I would also bring like hot chocolate, like a little thing of hot chocolate or
Yeah.
coffee from, Starbucks has those.
Yeah, the jugs, like the carriers.
Yeah, the jugs. Yeah. So just take that. Like it was
Scrappy.
very, very, but people were just handing me cash.
Wow.
And we started getting, and I didn't actually know at the time, but we started getting inquiries saying, these pants don't fit right. And I'm like, okay, that was one email, then another email, then another email. I think this, something about a package. And then they started sending photographs of the pants, these men. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, wait a second, what's going on?
Oh no.
Why are men sending, pictures of their front of their pants? Like, what's happening here? So then I go look and I check production, and we sewed the women's front panel onto the men's back panel.
Oh.
So the inseam is tiny, very, very, very short, not comfortable for a dude at all, right? And so that was a massive production miss.
How much did that end up costing you? What did you do with all of it?
I had to, we didn't have any money, so I had to unsew everything.
No.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, we have to redo it. So I literally
Unstitched
all the
it all
pants.
and reconstructed them.
unstitched every single thing, and whatever we can salvage, we salvaged. But at that time, I really thought this was like our demise, because I'm like, I screwed up royally. And it was a funny thing, but it made us really pay attention, obviously, to production. And ever since that incident, our production is our lifeline, it's our North Star. Like,
Yeah.
our quality control is now probably the best in the world. We have so many checks in all our facilities. It's state of the art. So I'm glad it happened when we were,
At the beginning.
yeah.
Well, all that stuff happens at the beginning. I mean, the types of minutia that at a certain point as a founder, at the onset, you kind of have to be across every single granular detail. For me, I don't know how to not have love in the details. But at what point do you go, okay, those were your beginning learns, and then you've grown to a company of how many employees?
I want to say 350 at headquarters.
Yeah, so you have 350 people headquarters that you have to entrust to oversee, as you said, the quality control, other elements. What has that been like for you in the growth to make you go, okay, I have trust that they're going to solve it, that it's going to be okay, that you're not in the minutia in the same way as you were at the onset?
Honestly, I still am in the minutia. I mean, I've not CEO anymore of Figs. I stepped aside about 2.5 years ago. But I still do think I'm in the minutia. And I think that's the key to success sometimes. I think you have to ebb and flow from 0 feet, right? Boots on the ground, all the way to 60,000 feet. And you have to be able to do that in the same day, sometimes in the same hour. And even when I hire
Spend
folks,
money.
I like to see if they're capable of doing that, because it's a really hard skill set to master. But I think it's key for success.
And bring in A+ people that you can trust to do and delegate and speak on your behalf, but look at it through the same lens that you would. I mean, okay, so let's just go from year 1 to now at year 13. So you're year 1, you have this, not blind faith, but this faith in what you guys are creating. And even as you have little moments, as we were talking about with that manufacturing hiccup, or I wonder, without a fashion background outside of your handbag line that you had started, what was the inspiration for changing the colors, the fit? Was it trend driven? Was it just trying to make things more tailored? And also, do you continue to meet with the trends on how that should look? Or do you just say, these are evergreen, these are the styles that we do, the colors pop in a different way? I'm just curious how you did that. And equally, the second part of that question would be, when you talk about sizing, and you're incredible in what Figs does in terms of accommodating so many different body types and shapes and sizes, what that does for you from an inventory standpoint, because I think a lot of small businesses, certainly at the onset, are so scared of having inventory just sitting on their shelves because they don't know which units are going to move first.
So I think we are fortunate in the position that we are in a uniform business, right? So we could have a long shelf life if we need to, right? So it doesn't go out of style. We're not going to go out of style.
So more timeless designs then are key. So it doesn't feel like you're not going to have a puff shoulder, cool, like on trend scrub style. You're keeping something that will work no matter what.
And if we do, we buy a smaller run. So if something is on trend, we buy, obviously a smaller run of that. And we buy specific too. If we believe, for example, wide leg, right? If we know that in Texas, wide leg's going to be more popular, we just kind of focus on that region for that specific style. But I think going back to the colors, that has to be innate, and it has to come from within. Like, I had a real issue with the colors in hospitals. So what was a hospital standard of color really bothered me.
Why?
I didn't like the mix. I think something should be, let's say we have a graphite, and our graphite's heathered. Heathered is dyeing 50% of the yarns and not dyeing the other 50%. So it gives a softer gray look.
And it feels more textured and
exactly.
multidimensional.
Yeah, so I think in order to elevate healthcare professionals, they can't have something that's flat, right? And that's just boring standard gray that blends in, it's just
drab.
Yeah, so that was a big issue for me, and hospitals pushed back for many, many, many years, and I said, okay, it's not going to come from the top down, but it will come from the bottoms up, and that's how we built our business, from the bottoms up, right? So the healthcare professionals are saying, we want the graphite, right? And so eventually then we get the call from the hospital saying, cool, we're going to work with you, and we want the graphite, right? Our healthcare professionals will allow them to wear graphite instead of our standard gray.
It really is cutting through a lot of red tape
in
a way that you probably wouldn't have thought about beforehand, even if you're just talking about color considerations in hospitals, but you've made a choice to really connect with your customer in a way that feels personal. And because you were goal-oriented on something that was helping in a tremendous way globally and having a ripple effect. That's, I think, why it ended up yielding so much interest and success, because I want to hear about, for you, when you decided to do your first round or have Series A or B, what was that like the first time you went from friends and family investing in your handbag company to then bootstrapping, what you guys were doing at the beginning, to realizing you needed to scale? How were you going to scale without capital, and what that was like, who you went to, and how you did it during that first raise?
That first raise was very, very, very difficult. I think we had over 200 people say, "What the heck are you doing?" It was not even just like a nice no, it was like, absolutely not. It was like, no way.
They couldn't buy into the story, the vision.
Yeah, no, it was like, absolutely not.
And were these in person or over the phone?
Both. They were both.
Oh, man.
Yeah, most of it at the time was in person, so yeah.
Well, that even feels worse, because you're using all the charm in the room and it's not working.
Yeah, and I really thought that, like, at that time I was like, you're making a big mistake, because you don't understand the value of what a uniform can do to a healthcare professional, and you're not getting it. And then that means you're a shitty investor, because you're not understanding another person's lens, which that's your job. Yeah, it was Trina and I, it was a lot of no's. And then we finally got a yes. And we raised our first round, a couple million for figs.
What were you using it towards? Was it towards marketing? Was it towards building inventory? What was the usage that people have a real learn of how you can take that and turn it into $2 billion plus?
We used a lot of it towards inventory. For people starting a business, try to negotiate, obviously, with your manufacturers to get a longer lead time, right, before you have your net terms, before you have to pay. So in the beginning, when I didn't have any money, I negotiated with our facilities, our factories. I said, look, I don't have any money, but you gotta believe in this. And they did, and they fronted the capital for a year of production. And that's how actually Figs was started. Like, I didn't have any money. So our manufacturers, they said, you know what? Like, I really believe in your vision. I believe in what you're doing. We'll front you for a whole year.
Wow.
And they did.
That is massive. How, do you still work with those same manufacturers?
Yeah, we still work with the same manufacturers. Many, many more, but yes.
Yes. Wow, that's great. Well, I also love just the loyalty in that, because they believed in you. They were incentivized because they wanted it, but they believed in your vision from the beginning. It suddenly becomes really personal.
This episode of Confessions of a Female Founder is brought to you by Booking.com. Listing your vacation rental is all about opening doors to guests, but it's also about opening up an extra revenue stream for you. And if you want to turn hosting into a steady income, you need to list your spot on Booking.com. Booking.com is one of the most downloaded travel apps in the world. Over the past 25 years, they've helped more than 1.8 billion vacation rental guests find places to stay. So why not help them find yours? Booking.com makes it super easy for you to run your growing business. You can chat with guests, accept or decline bookings, and easily manage your property's calendar and finances. It's hosting on your terms. Getting started is super easy. In less than 15 minutes, you can register your property. Plus, if you're already listed on another site, Booking.com makes it easy to import your property info and get going right away. Nearly half of partners get their first booking within a week of listing their property. Whether you're looking to earn that extra income, fill those vacant weekends, or grow your business, head over to Booking.com to see how you can get started today. The reach is global, the bookings are consistent, and the control is yours. For the bookings you've dreamed of, list your property on Booking.com. When I'm running around from work meetings to soccer games to dinner parties, I'm lucky if I remember to even wash my hair, let alone really truly care for it. That's why my party trick is Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. Anything truly worthwhile takes time and effort, and with Nutrafol, see thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair and less shedding in just 3 to 6 months. I tried the Women's Balance formula, and I noticed that my hair looked so much thicker. Truly, when I run my fingers through it or look in the mirror, it just looks so much better, like I'm 10 years younger. And that has really impacted my self-esteem. I feel so much better. This summer, stop worrying about your hair and start making memories. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code CONFESSIONS. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code CONFESSIONS. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code CONFESSIONS.
The large question that a lot of people listening will probably ask is, how do you get someone to buy into your vision? How do you get someone to believe in the thing as deeply as you do? Because as you're saying, you went through so many no's, like an auditioning actor, before you heard yes. But what makes that yes happen? Is that just timing? Is that the right connection? Is that stars in alignment? Or is there something that changed in how you conveyed your vision?
You know, I think for Figs, it was a number of things. It was proof of concept, right? I think with investors, you have to show proof of concept. And sometimes people show, okay, this is what the TAM is. This is what the total addressable market is. I don't come from the background of the school of business school at all. And I don't believe necessarily in TAMs for myself, because I think that you could always create your own total addressable market, right? You can create it. And that's the same concept of creating the world you want to live in, right? So everybody's like, oh, the TAM is too small for scrubs. And I'm like, that is the most ridiculous comment. It's not too small. It's actually massive, because you're not including, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You're not including the underscrubs. You're not including the socks. You're not including
Soup to nuts.
to nuts. And you're thinking of it in a very small way.
Yeah, too micro.
Too micro. And I think entrepreneurs should not think about, like, how do I buy into the TAM, but how do I create my own TAM?
Yeah, expand it beyond what people can wrap their heads around, because of course no one would have thought that we were going to then be facing a pandemic, and how Figs showed up for that, where it had just been scrubs. If you looked at the TAM, you weren't thinking about masks at the onset, and then suddenly that ends up being a very, very vital part of how the entire world was navigating through this. Can you talk a little bit about what happened when the pandemic began and how you guys showed up in that moment?
Sure. Yeah, that was wow. Yeah, I started seeing it in December, and then it hit really hard in March of 2020.
Where were you?
I was in, where was I? I think I was in Vietnam actually at the time.
Doing volunteer work or doing work with the business?
No, I was with our manufacturers.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I'm like, okay, something is going to happen here really quickly, because we're in healthcare and we see everything, right? And we're in communication with healthcare professionals globally, so we know we have our finger on the pulse. I'm like, okay, this is going to get serious really quickly.
But so when you hear this news and you're in Vietnam and you're at the factory, is Trina with you? Do you call Trina? Do you leave? What do you end up doing in that immediate moment when you recognize we're going to have to action something, and you're kind of figuring it out in real time, I think, as the rest of the world was, but you know it directly affects your business and how you can show up for your customer?
Yeah, I think we were a little bit ahead of the normal commercial world since we were so in tune with healthcare, but we didn't realize the magnitude of what was going to happen. Nobody did.
Right.
So it was honestly our partnering with our manufacturers. It was partnering with anybody who we knew to get our masks to healthcare professionals. I mean, we had calls saying, I'm using a mask 8 times and I'm putting it in the oven to sterilize it, and my institution's not helping us out.
Oh my gosh.
They couldn't help them out. And it was our duty as a company to protect and to provide gear for healthcare professionals, right? They're on the front lines.
Right.
And so we just did everything we could to get hundreds of thousands of masks to healthcare professionals. We just gave them out for free. We made oxypulses, so that was a huge thing too.
The pulse oximeters?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, that was a really big deal, because with the breathing and healthcare professionals were handing them out to patients, so we gave them a ton, and then we said give these out to patients so they would know when to come to the hospital if they need to come to the hospital again. But yeah, I mean, it was the entire company was amazing, and we really just were working 24 hours a day for quite some time, for what, 2 years, year and a half.
Wow. I mean, it's just, I think for anyone who's listening, they have to feel so inspired by what you've created, by knowing that one moment, one observation of something can end up changing the trajectory of your whole life, where you build something and have a robust team, but also that you're continuing to pivot to the needs of what the company wants. And also outplaying and over delivering on what the expectation is, even for your investors. And so speaking of that, what was it like to take Figs public?
It was awesome. It was honestly a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
I think to be able to get to a place of like, okay, we are taking our company public is an incredible milestone. Even though it is grueling. It is very difficult, and it looks easy, obviously, from the outside, right? Oh, you made tailored scrubs. You had a great brand. Oh, you went public. First female founders go public. Great. But there have been major hardships along the way, and there still are, right? And
Which type of hardships would you be comfortable sharing so that people know that it's not just an easy road?
one that was actually that really, really got me was we were in a terrible, terrible lawsuit.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and I think, I was being personally sued as well for everything. My company was being sued, and it was like, are you gonna lose everything? And you can, yes, you can.
Do you feel more resilient after having gone through that? Because I will say, you won.
And we won. We won.
You fought that fight and you won.
Yeah.
So in some ways, coming out of that, because I think every entrepreneur in ways big or small are going to deal with things that feel like battles or criticism or scrutiny or legal or what have you. And how do you stay the course through that as opposed to just going, what is the point? They're coming for me. How did you stay the course? Why did you choose to fight the fight? And how did you feel coming out of it with a win?
I just think about being a giant killer sometimes, right? Like David. I don't know. Right, like
You're just slaying dragons left and right.
No, like in the sense of like, right, because like the people that were suing us, they were the giants, right? They were the Goliaths, we were the Davids.
Yeah, David and
David
Goliath.
and Goliath, right? And I move on very, very quickly. So it's like, okay, next, and then go.
Mhm.
I think everybody has to be resilient in order to be on this earth. You have to be pliable in some, fashion.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just move on to the next thing. Go.
Yes. Onward next.
Yeah.
And that's huge. And so now as you've, stepped out of a more formalized role, but you're still in the weeds and in the granular for Figs, what are you working on now?
Well, about 2 years ago, I started to see healthcare professionals having an issue with certifications and education, and I started a company in healthcare education, and we have not launched yet, and we're about to launch. We're in beta. And basically, we came out with a new way for healthcare professionals to get certified. We track and manage your certifications.
Mm-hmm.
So it's healthcare professionals learning from each other instead of learning necessarily even from a textbook or from a third party. So a specific example actually that just happened today, which was pretty cool. Here in the United States, when you have a baby, and sometimes our OB-GYNs, right, they are protocols to cut up. And in Colombia, you cut laterally, and that's their protocol there. And so we're watching these two surgeons talk on our platform. They're like, why do you do this? I'm like, well, this is why. This is the research. This is the papers.
Wow.
And we're like, okay, that is really fascinating to know that. So that's just one micro example, but times that by millions.
Yes, with peer-to-peer learning and understanding that even in the cultural context of things, how much we can learn about what's happening on the other side of the globe, even though you have the same profession.
Yes, and right now, we have 10,000 professionals on here. We're watching, we're learning, we're iterating, and it's really neat to see when healthcare professionals learn, even just know protocols from state to state, or hospital to hospital, or country to country.
You're finding a need.
Yeah, we're finding a need, and I didn't do this. I actually just did this as a passion project, because I didn't really want to start another company. I just zero desire. I'm like,
Why does every female entrepreneur that I talk to says that? And yet they do.
because
They're like, no, then this is it, then I'm done. And they're like, I kind of got the bug, but I see something else I can do and be helpful with, so let's do that too.
yeah, I think I can't. First of all, for me, I can't sit still. I always have to be doing something, and I always have to be solving for a problem, because that's just how my mind works. If I'm not solving for something, I feel like I'm worthless. So I think this is a very, very big issue in healthcare, and my job is to, okay, how do I help healthcare professionals? How do I be their biggest cheerleader? How do I give them time back so they can have better patient outcomes, right? And so selfishly, so I'm a patient too, right? So I can live longer and live healthier and live the best life ever.
Yeah.
How do I do that for Heather? Make sure all our healthcare professionals are taken care of. So this new company is amazing, and it's called OG. It's called OG Health, and we're super excited to launch it. And I think it's going to make a massive difference in healthcare education.
Well done. I think this is going to be illuminating for so many people, and also just a good reminder that you don't have to have some revolutionary idea that is reinventing the wheel to be able to see a hole in the market, to recognize where you can be additive in a way that's not just going to be profit building, but is going to really be fulfilling on a level that you can rest well at night, knowing that your purpose has really added to someone else's sense of worth and how they show up in their job, and filled a need in a different way. And I think it's really profound what you guys have been able to create. So well done.
Oh, thank you so much, Megan.
Next week, we're talking to a founder who bootstrapped a, wait for it, hair tie business and turned it into an $87 million beauty brand.
We were profitable year one. I mean, that's what happens when you don't hire a graphic designer to do your
For
logo.
6 iterations. Are you joking?
No, I'm not.
Can you guess who it is? See you next week.
That was great.
Confessions of a Female Founder is a production of Lemonada Media, created and hosted by Megan. Our producers are Catherine Barnes and Oha Lopez. Kristen Lepore is our senior supervising producer. Executive producers are Stephanie Littles-Wax, Jessica Cordova-Kramer, and Megan. Mix and sound design are by Johnny Evans. Rachel Neal is our VP of New Content and Production, and Steve Nelson is our SVP of Weekly Content and Production. You can help others find our show by leaving us a rating and writing a review. There's more Confessions of a Female Founder with Lemonada Premium. Subscribers get exclusive access to bonus content when you subscribe in Apple Podcasts. You can also listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next week.
I don't know about you guys, but I really like the outro song. I don't know who. I think they said who did it. Yeah, thank you. It was very. I thought it was good. I mean, not as boom 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 as the others, but that's the point, right? The idea is she didn't have to like get one revolutionary idea. She just saw a hole in the market based on of her experience and turned it into a real business. I saw your comments in the chat. I agree. It was incredible that her factory decided to invest and decided to trust her and give her that capital or that support up front. That was really incredible. That's rare, frankly. Almost impossible actually, but like what, I'm glad that they believed in her. I also like what she was talking about, the terms thing, trying to identify your target market. The fact that she said that you don't have to be a tech, how it is, like a tech bro or a business bro to be able to raise capital. Just have an idea and just network. I think that's something I don't do very well, to be honest. I'm not a good networker because I'm very irritated and I tend to just want to do my own thing and go home and do other things. I really should get better at that, to be fair. But like, yeah, guys, wow, we are live. So let me know what you think. What did you guys enjoy about it? What did you guys enjoy about the podcast? Let me go back on the thing to see if I can get rid of all the bots. We can have a Q&A session if you guys are interested. I put a goal on the chat, whatever you can contribute. If you have any, if you can, please don't feel any type of pressure. Is less than equals to $5. If you have anything, please let me know. Yeah, so like I said, I mean, there was something I saw. Let me see who posted that actually. I think it was Marsha, about there being three. 3% black women who are billionaires out of all the billionaires in the US. I'm not to even talk about globally. Yeah, I think black women face a lot of challenges. We don't get to rise in our careers the way, especially in Europe. Oh, don't even get me started about Europe. Especially in Europe, it's almost a joke, almost impossible. You see a lot of black women in Europe, even though they are working, they have to have like side businesses to make real money because or they have to just be pure entrepreneurs. In America, you guys have it easier because you have an infrastructure that has been built by black billionaires and supported by black billionaires. So it's not unusual to see a black woman leading a multi-billion pound business. It's not, sorry, billion-dollar business. I mean, you have Oprah, you have Beyonce, you have who else? Black billionaire. Oh, you have Tyler Perry. You see that, and you guys have that infrastructure. You have your Black Beverly Hills. Of course, all of that came through blood, pain, and sweat. So I'm not saying that you have it easy. I'm just saying you have the infrastructure in a way that you can work exclusively within the black community and become super wealthy. It is not unusual to see. I live in Europe, even in London, as liberal as it is. Many black businesses, many black millionaires you see had to run their own business. Even in the corporate world, it's hard for them to progress. And yeah, so you have to do your own thing. No, generational wealth is very important. I agree. Hi, cookies. Hi, cookies. Yeah, generational wealth is the beginning of this whole thing, and that's the reason why I tell people that look, if nothing else, give your kids something. Even if you can't afford to buy a house, you should have like an ISA account, like have cash. Yeah, exactly. It's easier. It's easier because you guys have a market. That's why you see a lot of black people who grow up here go to America to become actors, to become athletes, to become business people. Because, like I said, you guys have an existing, thriving infrastructure for black wealth. We don't have that in Europe. Lie. In fact, the only people that have access to black wealth consistently here are the athletes. And many of them, let's be honest, are not marrying black women. They are marrying non-black women and producing children who are not they're not feeding into their community. And then because a lot of them are football players and football playing careers are not guaranteed. They might see you this year and say, oh, we like this player. Um, we like this player. We're going to sign him to a 2 year, £10 million contract. But that player injures himself, or he falls below standard. Your 10 million is gone because they'll pay you what when you deliver. So no, we don't have that consistent infrastructure here. Yeah, that's true, Electra. I think no for black people, I have to give it to like a lot of Africans in diaspora are doing quite well. Like I'm Nigerian, I have my own thing. A lot of Nigerians are doing are doing okay, okay. They could be better, but yeah, I think if you want to make real wealth, real proper wealth, either in Africa or in America, Europe, well, you can, but you have to have like that whole cross appeal. You can't say you're going to build that billions alone here. I don't know. It's a very weird society that we live in. You get used to it, then you try and figure out, okay, how do I navigate myself around it? But I think if nothing else, what would be nice, I want Megan to get a black woman who became a billionaire, who became an entrepreneur, so we can listen to her and hear what she. I know she had Caddy, but I want somebody else. I want someone like Mega. What am I saying? Someone like what's her name? Beyonce. Oh, Europe has racism. It's they're not even pretending. No, they have racism. I don't know why when people say Europe pretends to have racism, I am always I am always baffled. No, the Europeans are not shy about their racism at all. It's the Brits that you can never trust and everything. Serena, thank you, Electra. Oh, thank you. I almost forgot about her. Yeah, Serena is perfect. Thank you, Electra. Well done. Serena is perfect. I would love to hear from her. I think she got her for archetypes. I hope she gets her for this one. I hope she gets her for this one. I hope so. But I want to hear from a black woman that actually had to build and was able to make it. Build. And I'm not talking about, I mean, I want to hear your stories. How did you overcome imposter syndrome? How did you overcome racism? Because even someone like Serena would have seen racism. People are happy making money from your labor, but it doesn't mean they want to work with you or invest with you, especially as a black woman. So it would be nice to hear from someone like Serena. It would be nice to hear from even, I don't know, maybe Mama Tina, Beyonce's mom, because they've opened, like Beyonce has Sacred, she has her whiskey company. She opened her Parkwood Entertainment quite early in her career, I think 2024, I don't know, 2014, 2013, and she's progressively been building off that Parkwood Entertainment, which is incredible, because it means that because a lot of her money she made post Parkwood, so you get to see that it's coming to her, not some record label taking all her cash, or at least most of her cash, like a lot of the young ones today are suffering. So yeah, it was a really good podcast, and a continuous reminder to all of us, not just black women, women, men, whoever you are, that look, this entrepreneurial bag, if you want to get into it, get into it. You might think, oh, I need to have this. You just start. If you just start, you can increment and you can get better. I think that's always been my thing. For me, when I started the YouTube channel, I was thinking, okay, I don't have the right lighting. I'm busy. I don't have the right camera setup. But I just started, and even though I will admit, I think if I got certain things, my growth will be better. At least I started. Then I can talk about how I want to improve this and how I want to improve that. And now I'm doing more things with tech. And yeah, I had my first tech live stream last week. For those of you who attended, thank you so much for the support. Things like I said, I appreciate that this channel is specifically for Megan and Harry, but I'm trying to use the algorithm that I currently have to build out and get more audience, so that when it's time, I can move it to a new tech dedicated channel. Oh, my tech things. So basically, it sounds weird to say. I'm a data engineer, quite senior, and I wanted to just create a space where people could come and talk. I wanted to share insights. I wanted to do some tech projects. And really, the plan is to do it for. I didn't have an audience in mind. I was opening it up for everyone. But what I saw last week was a lot of people. Well, I know it was only like a few people that attended, but the people that were consistently asking me questions were people of a particular who were maybe shy about tech, nervous about it. And I don't want to use age or race, because there are people across all platforms who are curious about certain things. So I started talking about an API. This week I'm going to talk more. Do you know what I'm going to do this week? I'm going to talk about AI agents and how it can help people who are new to this environment, who are struggling with all the disruption and all the changes. Every day, one brand new thing is happening. We can build some. I'll see. I'll continue with the API and I'll see what people say. Like I said, the aim was just to teach people. There are people who want to start, who want to understand, who don't know how YouTube works, who don't know how they can do marketing. I'm not a marketer. I'm not gonna teach you that, but I can show you, like, as a data engineer, how you can do data analytics, how you can mine data. My own tech company. Oh no, I don't know about all that, but I'm happy to start by just talking to people on YouTube and creating content. Yeah, let me start creating content. Again, everything, guys, don't forget, the whole thing is just start and see your audience. Is there an audience for this? Are they interested? If the audience becomes consistent, if they start paying, giving me, paying for the, and again, maybe I can do memberships for tech, and then we can do, because for me, I was hoping that just from the if you watch my videos, the ads should be able to make me decent income, but it's because I don't have that many followers yet. That's why that's why you see me asking for the funds. If I was bringing in like hundreds, like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, I won't even need membership. Just come and watch and enjoy. Because that's good ad money, but I'm not bringing in that type of money yet. So it's just to help me get off the ground. But yeah, to answer your question, Electra. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I want not just a tutorial, just I'll come every week. Hmm, that's a good idea. But again, like I'll start talking about things. Then to your point, which is a very good point, I could put like Q&As and speak to people and ask them, is there any topic that you're interested in? Yeah, exactly. So it's like because I'm an engineer, a data engineer, I can talk people through things. Oh, if you're trying to use this tool, are you having this problem? Let's have a conversation. I can walk you through it. Then make videos and people can, I said I was going to get a whiteboard. I should order one so I can do like a mini class. I'm doing a mini class on Friday evening, um, which I will be streaming both here and on TikTok. I don't know how I'm going to stream this on TikTok. So yeah, the hair care business. I know a lot of people that do that. Some people have Etsy pages where they create things and sell them too. It froze, guys. Have I frozen? Oh, you mean Carol's daughter? Did she sell that business? Masha, can you hear from me? Hello, Masha. Yeah, I think I haven't frozen. Can you guys hear me, see me? Joyce, I think you're referring to Carol's daughter. Yeah, great. If anybody else, can everybody else? Thanks, Electra. Marsha, can you see and hear me? Joyce, can you see and hear me? Can everybody see? Okay, great. Thanks, Joyce. Thanks, Electra. I didn't hear from Marsha, so I wasn't sure. And yeah, I mean, oh, is it? It's Karen's daughter. Oh, okay. That is interesting. But yeah, hi, Marsha. Hi, Olivia. Great. So the good thing is, I think somebody mentioned it here. I think so. Oh yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Right. Okay. I get you, Electra. Sorry, I was slow. I think somebody said it here. I don't know if Megan. What do you think, guys? Will Megan do a season two? I'd like her to. Why not? What do you guys think? Season two? I think she could. Everything depends on how you guys consume her content. Did you guys see? I think we can do a mini Megan roundup. Did you guys see on her Instagram? She said that something new and exciting is coming from Azeva. Yeah, I can see a season because there are lots of female founders. Why not? Hey Janet, how are you? But yeah, I was saying that season two. Let's see. You guys should watch. And guys, sorry, there's something I thank God I remembered. Did you see that Golden Globes? Oh, let me just turn this off. I'm mistakenly.
What people?
Did you see that Golden Globes? Oh, for the garden? Oh, damn. Oh, well, let's see. As long as it ships to the UK, because what the hell? Oh, yeah, what I was saying. So, did you guys see that Golden Globes have said they will stop doing, they will have a podcast category? How cool is that? Imagine if Megan got a nomination. I think the Rangers would lose their effing minds. Yeah, the Rangers. Hi, Janet 25 Gomez. I think that the Rangers would lose their effing minds if Megan got a Golden Globe nomination. They will try. Of course, they will try everything in their power to downplay it. They will say, "Oh, Megan bought it." Because that's how one just buys what they like in, it's like they're just so weird. On one hand they say everybody hates her in Hollywood, Let me find that woman's video so we can insult her together. Actually, I hate her face so much. Whenever that bitch's face shows up on my, sorry for cursing, but she is a bitch. Whenever her face pops up on my timeline, I just like, breathe, woosa. But let's drag her together because she's a hateful cunt. Yes, this bitch. Um, ugh, let me just share her ugly face. So you know what's so interesting to me, guys, with the derangers? They are always they are always trying to project, and it's as if they are trying to convince us about something. How, like, did you guys see my video with Vickers in the morning? It's like you've made up your mind you don't like someone now because what he was saying was, oh, on Mother's Day, from the people that he saw posting in America, you should be posting, America should be posting of her mom, not her kids. I now ask the question, okay, Hugo, did you check the social media of everybody that lives in America, all the 300 million plus people, all their TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp? Did you check all their profiles to see that no, that all of them, not that none of them posted of their mom? Hugo Vickers is an idiot, but he is symptomatic of the same problem across Durangerville. They just project. They hate Megan with their ugly faces, so they assume everybody hates Megan. I know. I'm sorry. Let me just show you something so that we can drag her. Bear with me. See this bitch? See what she said. Let me just increase that. Don't worry, it's a short. It'll be quick. See the nonsense that she's saying.
I'm too from the Brits. Like, what do Americans really think of Harry and Meghan? We despise them. We have had a conclave of sorts. We have come to a universal response. If we are a single organism, we despise them. I loved how you described Harry and Meghan as sort of a splinter group of a royal camp in America. It made me think of, I think of them as sort of emotional terrorists, and I think of them, it's sort of like ISIS, being an outgrowth of Al Qaeda, a splinter group, and that's what they're doing. And I listened very closely to that BBC interview, which was full of rage, grievance, a false claim, in my opinion, by Harry that he wants resolution. He lives for unresolved conflict, otherwise he's got nothing going. And also the implication, which shows you how paranoid, delusional, and utterly lost he is. Pierce, he walked right up to saying, the royal family wants me dead.
First of all, it shouldn't surprise you. Hi, Cynthia. It shouldn't surprise you that somehow not yet convicted asshole Piers Morgan brought this hideous monstrosity of a woman. The glasses are not doing anything, Maureen. You are hideous. Everything about your face is just a hot mess. As in, guys, I cannot even imagine what this woman would look like without makeup. Can you imagine? Good Lord. I mean, she's literally caked with it. That ridiculous hair, the glasses, all a mess. Evil, evil, evil bitch of a woman. So for her to say that everybody in America hates them, and I'm like, guys, let's be honest with ourselves. For the Americans in the chat, did you know who this woman was? I'm sure many of you have no idea who this heifer is. So it's kind of interesting to me that because she makes money spreading misinformation and saying extreme stupid things about Harry and Meghan in her mind, because Maureen Callahan, who nobody knows or gives a shit about, doesn't like Harry and Meghan, then everybody in America doesn't like Harry and Meghan. Yes. They hate her, which is why they sold out all of Meghan's stuff. They hate her, which is why her TV show got to top 5 in America? They hate her, yeah, sure. Which is why we all saw Harry and Meghan break the internet over the weekend. But sure, they hate her. Kate and what's his name? William. They can't even, unless, look, the last time Kate got that type of engagement was when people thought she disappeared. Exactly, Olivia. Exactly. We don't know who this woman is, but yet she's speaking for all the Americans. Stupid woman. Anyway, so the point I was just trying to make there is so interesting how I feel like the Rangers are trying to mind control people. They feel like if they shout it loud enough, people will start believing. And yeah, it works in some cases. A lot of people are not going to do their research. But I don't know, have you guys noticed? I get a general. There's the people that hate Meghan and Harry and use them for engagement. But I don't know, there's a shift in the air. Exactly. Thank you, Electra. I don't think they are sitting down tracking Mega every move Mega makes. Like Graham said in his video yesterday, they are like the Kardashians. All of them. I'm sorry, including Harry and Meghan. These are celebrities. The only difference between Harry and Meghan and this idiot is at least they are making money. And speaking of which, guys, so you know the video I posted yesterday, I got demonetized. So I want to see if we can quickly react to it again, just so that it can get, just so that it can get monetized. Bear with me. Let me get that video. Just keep on projecting on this on this, on Harry and Meghan. Oh, they are hated. Hated by who? What are you talking about? Are people indifferent to them? Yes, that makes way more sense to me. I'm indifferent to 99% of the celebrities on that we see on TV. I don't know who these people are. I don't care for them. I ignore them really, unless they are doing something I'm interested in, like music or Harry and Meghan. Most people I tend to ignore because, like, I don't know you. The fuck? I don't know you. I'm not thinking about you. Yeah, let me get my videos. Yeah. So I'll just quickly play the video from last night so that I can at least get some income from it because it's been demonetized. And you know why it was demonetized? Because to be fair, I kind of deserve it because I was dragging Kate and her husband. That video they posted, apparently they were using music for copyrighted music, which to be fair is a very clever way to prevent people from monetizing hating on you, which I know that they know we do. Let me just quickly play this again, guys. If you don't, oh my god, ew. Sorry.
Makes no difference to charity at all. I mean, this is the thing, there's so much stuff said about the monarchy which isn't true, and there's been a very detailed study on their impact on charity by an independent authority which said that the impact is close to zero. And, part of the problem with them, and part of the problem with William, who, is currently in line to be the next monarch, is he's incredibly lazy, he doesn't do anything. I mean, last month he did about 4 days.
Look at the Prince's Trust, now the King's Trust, that helped out
it's an independent charity that will function with or without the royals, and the impact of them on charity. I mean, William did about 4 days of work last month. 4 days in total, and when I say work, I mean turning up and waving at people, most of which is done in or near their houses. They really do very little, and they cost us £500 million a year, and for a whole family, which we do not need, including people that most people would never have heard of, like the Duke and Duchess of Kent, the Prince and Princess of Kent, Duke of Gloucester, they're all included in this £500 million cost.
Also looking seriously at charitable input. If you look at the way King Charles, since 1970, he was the first figure to internationally push the environment.
So that's not true.
Well, it is a proven fact. And also,
the environment, of course, has been pushed for decades by all sorts of people, and Charles's views on the environment have been questionable at best many times. And he has a huge carbon footprint. He is a hypocrite, and he is distracting from the very serious issue of the wealthiest people having the largest carbon footprint.
The interest online and also from the media on everything the royals do, you're trying to pretend it doesn't exist, but it does. does.
No, there's interest in the Kardashians and David Beckham as well. It doesn't mean that we give them £500 million and put them on a throne.
But in terms of
Celebrity
money,
culture is one thing.
just in terms of money, sorry to interrupt, in terms of money, the sovereign grant is going to increase next year, and that is because indisputably there has been a rise in Crown Estate profits. So how do you explain a rise in Crown Estate profits if, as you say, Graham, there's a decrease in interest in the royal family? How do they
Well, the
balance?
Crown Estate profits is land values. So the Crown Estate profits goes up partly, well, a large part of it is to do with wind farms in the sea, because the Crown Estate owns a large amount of our seabeds, so their profits are going up. Now, the Crown Estate belongs to the state. It's got nothing to do with the royals, doesn't belong to Charles, and it doesn't fund the monarchy. What happens is that all of that money goes to the government, but for some reason, George Osborne in 2011 decided to peg the funding for the monarchy to their profits. And so this year, just last month, the £500 million cost went up by another £45 million because of this increased profit from the Crown Estate. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. We can have all that profit and slash the budget down to £10 million and then elect our head of state.
All right, last word, Richard. What you've got is also a pivotal 369 million over 10 years refurbishment of Buckingham Palace. And if one thing you're not attending to is the profile of the royal family. Internationally, it is quite extraordinary.
Yeah, people like Prince Andrew, yes, a wonderful profile and advert for our country.
But you can't quantify everything with reference to just simple figures when you are looking at a profile that no other organization
You say that because you have no figures on your side.
There we need to leave it. Fascinating debate.
What?
Yeah, so I forgot how this made me feel. That was incredible. Graham, this is me appealing to you. Let's get together in a live. We need to take this global. I will match your energy. I don't give an F. I will drag everybody to the ground. This is the type of energy that we need. And I want to be clear. Look, yes, I'm a hater because but at least I have genuine reasons for not liking the monarchy. And every day I am confirmed. To confirm it, they are racist. They put Meghan through hell.
What?
Your current king is a racist POC. Don't even get me started on Kate. Oh, don't get me started on Kate and how mediocre she is. And the fact that, again, you know what? Do you know what, guys? I might even not even pick on Kate. I might not. If not for the fact that she kept quiet and allowed Meghan to be destroyed in the press when people were saying that she made her cry. That was, ew. At that point, I was like, so this is who you are. And don't forget, guys, daily reminder, Kate was one of the people concerned about how dark Archie's skin was going to be. Let me say it again. Kate, Archie's auntie by birth, was one of the people concerned about Archie's skin color. You know what? Do you know what I'll be doing on a daily basis? I'll be reminding everybody. I want it known. I want us to remember Kate Middleton, somebody who. Oh, hi, thank you so much, Olivia. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Somebody who married into the royal family as basically a bottle girl. No offense, no shade, but she did. But she did. I'm not calling her a bottle girl. I'm not calling her a hoe. I'm saying that but there's no other words to use for it. Chasing a man for just about a decade, refusing to work, just basically living off. Do you know what I heard? And again, I don't like peddling in gossip, but the tea I heard was, do you know how Kate was funding her lifestyle while she wasn't working? Her family members were borrowing money from uncles, siblings, because they were all in on the future bag that Kate was about to get. I think, do you know what I think? I think Goldilocks knew that Kate was a gold digger. Because who waits for you? I'm sorry, guys, let's keep it 100. What woman with self-respect will wait for a man for 10 years? Yes, I am Nigerian, Ferdinand. What woman with self-respect will wait for a man for 10 years? Now you tell me that, okay, Kate was 19 when she met William. Okay, I'll give her that. She didn't marry him until she was in her late 20s. When her brain hits 25, wasn't it time for her to say, oh shit, this isn't going anywhere, maybe I should end this? Nope. She stood there and waited patiently. There are videos from the internet with William humiliating that woman. I was in short. You know what? It's only because I don't care about Kate. Kate should be thanking God that I do not care about her enough to go and make a video where I get all the tea and make it into a reaction just to drag her. But I don't care enough about her to put in that effort, Jerry. Don't care about her. And guys, I don't think any of us care about her that much. But then again, you never know, She might do something that'll piss me off, and I will just dedicate a whole day to just looking for all the tea. All the press that are kissing her ass now. All the gossip and put it into one lovely 30-minute video and drag her in it. Because we all know there are so many videos online because it was so embarrassing that you see William, I think it was when they had their Destiny's Child Diana concert, that you see William dancing with his brother, who is standing. Harry is standing with his girlfriend in this video, by the way, standing with his girlfriend at the time, and you see Kate sitting at the back. I was so embarrassed. I was like, Kate, wow, Pauline, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Let's celebrate Pauline, guys. Her first super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pauline. Let me give you a lovely. Like I said, I'm not putting pressure on anyone. If you can, I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Shout out to Pauline in the chat, please. But yeah, guys. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think should I do a petty party, guys? Should I take time, get all the nasty videos? Nah. Kate hasn't. Let me. I will save that for if Kate provokes me. If Windsors provoke me, I will do that, and I will do a live stream, and I will create that. That will probably be my best produced video because I will gather all the mess and just drag. Wow! Oh my God! Thanks, guys. All this super chats. I wasn't expecting all this. Thank you so much. Oh no, thank you. I am beyond grateful to everyone for the support. But yeah, to the point about to TNO in situ. Thank you so much. Do I think? Well, do you know what? Do you know what? Do you know what? People are going around saying that Kate and William are William especially. William has a drinking problem, but I don't know, guys. There's clearly something wrong with him. I think the more you look at him, the more you see everything is not well. And guys, do you recall I posted an article from New York Times? Let me see if I can find that reaction video. That article from New York Times, because the American media does not kiss this royal family's ass. But if you recall that article that I was reacting to from New York Times, that they used the AI because I didn't want to get demonetized. Yeah, if
you're very fond of the king,
if you recall that video, guys, it was a straight mess. As in, Daily Mail has gone to feature that video now. Let me do a quick reaction to say thank you for the super chat. I was going to do a separate video, but guys, I have a video for you. Let's do a reaction. It is Jobbo and that's look. It's Jobbo, Robert Jobson, and that psycho Andrew, what's his name, Arthur Edwards, right? Let's do a quick reaction. Then I'll talk about that New York Times.
So you're very fond of the king, and you've been working with him for decades. It's a difficult question to answer, but how do you think he would be feeling? After this court case is finished, thinking, well, there may be a chance now for me to be able, to speak to my son. The legal case is over. How do you think he feels after finding out that his son, within hours, goes on the BBC and starts saying all this nonsense?
Be worried about it still because the thing why they won't speak to him is because all the conversation could go out on another TV show. I mean, he wants some.
Please, I beg.
It's all going to stop. He wants a genuine apology. And he's entitled to that. And so is William. And so is William. William and Harry were so close all their life. Everything they did together. They went in. They did everything together. They were so close. And now something must have happened that seriously happened that William just can't stand him anymore. And that's just so sad. But I do believe in I believe in the prodigal son. You can say I'm sorry and repent and promise not to do it again. And I'm sure the king and William will say, okay, let's give it another try.
Yeah, but he's got to trust him, and this is.
Well, this is the thing. This is what he's got to show that.
The trust
He's
is
got to
gone,
stop this talking out about stitch ups and things like that.
But it's
Say,
almost, isn't it,
I'm
that-
sorry, you know, Papa, I'm sorry. I want to come back. I want to see you. I want to be with you.
So,
I
so
want
is
to
the way
spend some
forward?
time with you, but it's not happening.
So is the way forward? We're taking a step back from this. Is a way forward is still that Harry? We need an apologetic Harry, a kind of
Well, a straightforward apology.
a straightforward apology from Harry.
Yeah.
But this seemed to be a bit old school. This interview that we were watching the other day, it seemed to return to the days of the Oprah Winfrey interview or his book The Spare or the Netflix series. He hasn't done that for a couple of years.
It was navel gazing again.
This is a
wasn't it?
return to angry Harry. It's not welcome, is
Well,
it?
he can't get through. He can't get through, and that's what's just upsetting him. He can't get through to speak to his father. And the last time he really did manage to get and speak to, I suppose, was when he flew over. But what's very sad is the king is still undergoing chemotherapy. It's it's a very, very difficult time. He's doing his best to carry out all his engagements, and he's lost the support of one of his sons at the time he needs them.
Oh, yeah.
And it must be a terrible pain. I should think, as a dad, the last thing you want to do is fall out with your kids, and this is very difficult. So, who makes the first move? I really don't know how the king can make the first move there, unless he can trust his son. And at the moment, we've not seen any evidence as to why he should.
Well, he's an incredibly busy man, as we've seen over the last couple of weeks, and we'll get onto later with the VE Day commemorations, everything that he's doing. This is something that's not needed in his life, and it could have been resolved. I think if Harry hadn't have done that BBC interview, we could have had steps forward.
Well, if he had done that BBC interview and he had said, "Pop, I'm sorry," that would have been worthwhile doing that interview.
And only say that. And only say that. Don't whinge.
No, don't go on about stitch ups and
stitch
and
ups.
government. Look,
Just say, I got it wrong. I'd like to see my dad. He's not well.
I mean, he was taking off on the government, and he was taking on the royal family to going to try and get that security. It was only an appeal. We'd already been told no, but he was fighting on about it. It's costing him a lot of money, and in fact, he's lost. Sometimes you just have to accept you lose in life and not just go on about stitch ups and things like that. He should have said, "Sorry, Papa, I'm so sorry. Please let me come and see you."
I've sat through many of those court cases, and there's never been one moment that I thought Harry might win this case. It's been going on, rumbling on for 4 or 5 years.
Very poor advice then, wasn't it?
And it's not just the poor advice. I think with the court case, where people have been, there has to be people around Harry now that are looking out for his best interests. And that interview wasn't. That might have been what he wanted, but it wasn't in his best interests.
No, but it was clearly what he was wanting to do. He wanted again. He lost the case, so he wanted to have his 5 minutes. Talking about the case, but also again raising issues that he feels that he needs to deal with. But as the son said, in the front he's lost it. I think he showed that he completely lost it. He had no real understanding anymore. I think of how the British people, who after all he's asking to pay the bill for his security, feel about him. And ultimately, with Harry, he seems to be. Don't know what he does anymore. As you say, he goes around collecting awards and. What does he do? He must be sitting in the kitchen, listening to talking it over with Meghan, talking nonsense. I mean, they really should get and understand that they've really got to do quite a lot to win back the favour of the British people and the royal family.
Guys, I'm so sorry, but what the actual F? First of all, you know why? Oh God, what happened? Why is this coming up again? Sorry, give me 1 second. You know what I wanted to show you guys? First of all, let's start with Rob Jobson. Rob Jobson. He can't fit into that chair. Did you guys catch that he couldn't fit into that chair? When I first saw him, I was like, holy shit. I think he's actually getting bigger. I didn't know that was possible. Jobbo may not be alive next year, guys. I'm not even cursing. Robert Johnson. I don't know who's talking to Rob Jobson. Some of the derangers sometimes come into my chat. You guys need to tell your friend that he needs to lose weight. Otherwise, I am genuinely thinking he may not see next year. How is it possible that man cannot fit into that chair? I mean, look at after Ed was basically shrinking into himself, Jabbo can't fit into that chair. To me, he has bigger problems to deal with than whether Harry is talking to his dad. And then again, the universal question: what the actual F does Harry need to apologize for? Let's start there. What could he possibly... What apologies, guys? Please, let's talk about it in the chat. What apology? Apologizing for what? for his experience, for daring to speak about his experience, for correcting the narratives in the press? Did you want him to allow did you want him to allow his children to read that his sister-in-law, who he was kind to when his brother treated her like absolute garbage, allowed a lie, probably even told the lie that Meghan made her cry on her wedding day? Or is it her sister, or is it his sister-in-law who he was kind to, probably more than his brother was, and treated with a bit of dignity? Is it that same sister-in-law that was concerned about how dark his first child was going to be? Is that who he should be apologizing to, or what he should be apologizing for? Should he apologize for the fact that his father was too busy trying to be Camilla's tampon to be a parent when his children's biological mom was killed in a very violent, nasty, and horrible way just in her youth? What is he apologizing for, guys? Or is he apologizing for the fact that his father, because he was being pilloried by everyone following Diana's death, decided to use Harry as his emotional punching bag, embarrassing Harry in the media, saying that he has drug problems so that he can prop himself up, saying that Harry, basically sending this message that Harry is stupid? Because if you guys recall, when those were articles I saw of Harry, and this is me not giving a damn about the royal family. In my mind, Harry was the fuck up. I'm serious. Please let me know in the chat. Do you agree? Did you see those articles too? When I was a kid, we would see articles of Harry's shenanigans. Harry is hanging out like a typical guy in his teens. Oh my God, Harry has problems. Harry is doing what a typical guy does. You know, gets drunk, goes naked, and hangs out in a hotel room. Oh, Harry is the problem child. Nobody was talking about Sensibale. Nobody was talking about the fact that Harry was working on Invictus. No, they were promoting all the negativity for him. And then when you read his book, you find that Harry actually didn't even like going out. And I'm thinking to myself that, imagine this child who all his life has been told or has been treated as somebody who doesn't matter. You don't matter. Your feelings don't matter. It doesn't matter if the world sees you as an idiot. It doesn't matter if the world sees you as a waste. It doesn't matter if the world sees you as a fuck up. He said himself he wasn't that good in school and he was insecure about it. So guess what they decided to do? To promote it and make it, yeah, see, he's dumb. He didn't pass his A-levels, so he must be an idiot. Imagine somebody doing this to you from when you were a child. Right? Letting you know your place in the world. And imagine how trapped Harry must have felt. Why wouldn't he want to marry a woman that makes him feel more than what they've told him he can be? You've told him he's a fuck up. You've told him he's not good enough. You've told him he's only there for extra body parts. Right? You don't prioritize him because there's a reason. Harry was saying he was happy in Africa. He was happy in the army where he could literally die. Somebody on Twitter posted something I completely forgot about. If you recall, those of you who read his book Captain of My Soul, I think he talks about what he was feeling when he saw Meghan, and he was saying something that implied that up until this time as a soldier he didn't really give a damn if he lived or died, but when he saw Meghan he was like, no, I want to live, I want to get to know this person. Think about that. Now I would say this also, in a way, is it fair to Meghan, a woman he didn't know, to place all his hopes on her? Maybe to me, if a man told me all that crap, I'd be like, oh, okay, calm down. That's a bit too much. But I can understand it, right? Somebody who is not from his circle, somebody who is an outsider for all intents and purposes, somebody different, who isn't the typical white English aristocrat that he was told that he had to be with, somebody who was a breath of fresh air. Why wouldn't he want to be with this woman, for goodness sake? I mean, just try and put yourself in. And this is part of the reason why I have a lot of empathy for Harry. I really, really do. Because I'm like, I can't even imagine all my life. And then more importantly, you now tell me, I'll get it of that one. Don't worry. And then all my, it's exactly Mashar. It's hard. I can't. I when people start bashing Meghan and Harry, I'm like, let's leave Meghan for a second. Let's look at Harry. Put yourself in Harry's position. What would you do? Because yes, they keep talking about the fact that yes, he's a prince. I'm not. This is the reason why I cannot stand the royal family, guys. If you recall, I said it numerous times. I've said it so many times. The fact that they made me feel sorry for a white English colonialist, sorry, descendant of colonialists, is actually part of my anger, really, because like I said, I never cared for these people. I didn't even know Harry's story. But now that you've read his book, even if you hate Harry, even if you hate Meghan, how do you read about what this man went through? From when he was a child, to when he lost his mom, to when he tried to be a teenager, when you were harassing him, you wouldn't let him go to school. In fact, you know what, guys? Since I've gone off on that tangent, let me quickly show you this video that I saw of Harry when he was a child going to school. And I was like, the first thing that came to my mind is, how could Charles allow this to happen? You know, let me see. Let me see. Harry is better than me. I would have, I would have burned this mother down. Everybody would go down with me. I'm like, nah, screw that. Which is again part of the reason why you know that this cult they're in, because even when you talk to Harry, you still see him defending the royal family. You still see him trying to defend and I'm like, after what they put you through, bro. Let me find that video. You see him as a teenager, and I was like, you people couldn't leave this kid alone. Let me see. Yeah, let me see. I felt sorry for him. I really did. I mean, there's a picture. Let me see if I hope I find it. I saw it on Twitter. I didn't see it here, but hopefully I find it. You see him literally just walking to class. He couldn't have been more than, what, 14? And they're just shouting his name, Harry, Harry, Harry. No thoughts about, this is embarrassing. Because, teenagers get embarrassed, right? Kids, no thoughts, no. Just see him walking. You can really see it in his body language that he's not happy. Let me see if I can find that video. Because when I saw that article, that video on Twitter, I don't know why I didn't retweet. I knew that I was going to lose it. Let me see. They put that boy through hell. And I'm thinking to myself, he has a father. Yes, you've lost your mom, but your dad didn't die. Why would your father allow this to happen? Why would you allow your son to be stalked like this? It's terrible. Charles is a dick. Sorry. It really triggers me because I can't imagine if someone did that to my kid just once, I will burn it all down. I will be like, not my child. Are you insane? Why is it my child that you're following in school? Have you all lost your mind? Where is that video? Because I hope if I don't find it, fine. I guess I'll do a reaction of it. But there's literally a video. You just see him by himself walking to class, and it feels like the police. Sorry, it feels like everybody was just Harry, 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 and I'm like. That's why when you see me talking about, I know you guys don't care about the Windsors. I don't blame you, like I said. But when you see me talking about my pure irritation with how they are treating the Windsor kids, is because I keep on thinking of Harry trying to walk into class with his mates, maybe 13, 14 years old, and the press is shouting his name. It's a mess. It's kind of like, it just really triggers me. Sorry. Okay, I can't find the video. If I find it again, I'll do a reaction. Because that thing really upset me. As in, I felt like they were screaming at my child. I was so annoyed. Anyway, I can't find the video. When I do, I'll do a reaction so we can talk about it. But yeah, so it's kind of like, I know I went off on this weird tangent. Let me see the chat. The British media had been tormenting Harry his whole life. Yes. Let me remove this person from here. I presume HG Bodden is a troll, so I'm going to remove you. Yep, I have seen that. Yeah, thank you, Olivia. You've seen that video, yeah? You see him in his Eton stuff. He's literally a kid walking, because I've been to Eton before. With my family came. It was a family thing. We went to Windsor. So I had an idea where he was walking to, and I was like, can you? It's literally just the kids walking, because I think the boarding quarters is the same grounds as the school. So you see him literally walking from his room, from his they caught him at the end of walking from his boarding room to class, and then the press was just there shouting, "Harry, Harry!" And I was like, "Your dad saw this and didn't tell the press to leave you alone." Well, when I tell you Charles is a terrible father, I mean, guys, I can't even, I don't even have kids, and I was triggered. Exactly.
Really.
TNO, exactly. If it was another person, if it was anybody else, you know good and damn well child services would have intervened. Because they're like, what are you doing? And don't forget that this was just, I think his mom had just been dead like, what, a year, 2 years? What they've done to Harry is, anyway. That's why I'm so glad. Like when people ask, "Oh, why can't he just go? Why is he talking to the press?" I'm like, well, I always ask them, "What would you do? Tell me what you would do that is better. What would you do?" No, I'm serious. Tell me. People the Rangers are coming into my chat. What would you do after everything Harry has been through? And like, what? I, I don't know how else to tell these people. So it's kind of like, instead of just shouting at Harry, you have to understand, man, that look, what this man has been through, many of us will never be able to understand it. No, I'm serious. I can't move past some of the things he's been through as a child, because especially when we think about how awkward we all were as teenagers, when you just want to hide away and just be on your own, and yet people are forcing you to be no. What this man has been through is unforgivable. Because, and the reason I keep on calling Harry is because William never went through any of this. And you know what, guys? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's why William doesn't have any empathy, because William never suffered any of this. And I also think, and I stand by what I said, guys, I also think that William did not like his mother. I'll keep it 500%. And the reason I say so is because of the adultification, I believe Diana gave him, because if what they are saying is true and what her words are saying is true, because she was so young, she probably didn't know how to, what's what I'm looking for now? She didn't know how to gauge her emotions around William. She probably treated him like, you know how some parents unnecessarily burden their children. Do you know what I mean? Are you guys following me? Some of us, I'm the eldest daughter, so I know what I'm talking about. When your parents talk about struggling, they talk about not having enough money. They make you take care of your kid, of your siblings. They have conversations with you that they are not supposed to be having when you're a child. That's why you see a lot of elder daughters or elder siblings don't want kids, or don't marry early. Yeah, because you scared them. You've told them from when they are young that, look, okay, maybe I'm struggling to pay the bills, or, oh, look, your father or your mother is garbage, or these types of things, this adultification of young kids and unnecessarily unburdening on your children can make them resent you. Yeah, I think, because I really don't think William liked his mom. I mean, he loved his mom, of course he did, but I really do think that there were probably feelings of resentment as well. Because she told him, you know how when you're a child, you hero worship your parents? Then you see your mom crying, because the put that William will be like, he'll be giving her tissue when she's crying. He'll be telling her, mommy, stop it, stop. You know, she would have tantrums and she would do things. I could have sworn, do you know what? I could have sworn this came from something that Diana wrote. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please let me know. I could be wrong. But you know what? Like, I could have sworn I read somewhere from her own words that she was like, William is my rock or something like that. And you know what? Again, I am not judging Diana, whether this is true or not. The states that she was in, because if you look at Harry, from Harry's book, he will talk about how, do you remember that part of the book? I agree. Well, yeah, exactly. I think, do you know what I think too? I think that maybe intentionally or not intentionally, they may have put feelings of resentment in William because don't forget that he went and gave a speech saying that his mom was paranoid. Is that something you do when you love your mom? and you believe she was wrongly attacked by the press. I don't think it's something you do. Maybe that's, yeah, Masha, maybe you're right. I don't know. I'm just going by what I read. Okay, Diana's recordings, right? The things that she was saying about leaning on William. I haven't. Let me just say disclaimer. I haven't read the book. I'm just saying from my own personal experience and what I've seen. The adultification of young children can make them resent you. They can, because you've literally forced them into a role they have no business playing in your life. That's why whenever I see some mothers or some fathers giving their children way more emotional information that they need, and I'm like, you really should stop doing that. This is a child. Let your child be a child. If you're going through something, go and get a therapist. Go and get friends your age. Talk to your friends. Stop unburdening on your kids. So yeah, I mean, it's honestly, this whole thing is a mess, frankly. And the person that I blame and deserves blame every day of his life for it is King Charles. This is all Charles's mess right here. Everything ultimately comes down to Charles because he is the head of the home. It was his responsibility to take care of Harry and William when their mother died. Instead, he gave Harry to nannies and people to take care of while he was jumping Camilla's rusty bones. That woman's pussy must be superb because God knows it's not her face. So I don't understand what the hell that is about. I mean, it's just madness to me. But yeah, it's a very sad, tragic situation. And to the New York Times article, I agree. Charles is not going to be remembered for anything else but being a selfish tantrum throwing, irresponsible, childish man, a terrible father, and an even worse grandfather. Because you would think if he was serious with this whole cancer thing that he's suffering, if he wanted to make amends, let me tell you what Charles would do. Charles would ensure his grandkids are protected from the press. Sorry, the grandkids that he actually wants to see, not Harry's grandkids. But since he's happy to throw them to the wolves and allow William and Kate to use them as distraction because William and Kate don't work, it's a mess, guys. And this is it. This is why the 1 million reasons why I think the royal family, this whole celebrity mess, this is the only thing that they do for us, frankly. They give us entertainment so we can gossip about them. They don't do anything else for the society. They don't do anything else for this country other than suck our tax paying cash and flaunt it in our face. So yeah, I guess we should thank them for giving us a topic. I should probably thank them for giving me content. Other than that, they're all very useless. And yeah, so we've gone through the mega. Sorry for going off on a tangent. It's only because we were reacting to Jobo's obese ass and Arthur Edwards. I don't know what's going on with Arthur Edwards. I think Arthur Edwards is inserting himself way too much in this. Then again, maybe that could be something that could be said for all of them. They are inserting themselves way too much in this family's matter. Speaking, you see Arthur Edwards saying, "Oh, you should just apologize and say he's sorry." What? The person that came to my mind is this isn't your family, Arthur. The fuck? Who are you to tell anybody what to do? It's ridiculous. These people get paid money to come and talk about a family that they don't know. At least I have a sense of awareness about it. How are they any different from us on YouTube? We're all doing the same thing, but we are giving our opinions. But at least some of us are trying to get the facts instead of just inserting ourselves in certain situations. But yeah, this was a very. I mean, do you guys? That was a very. Sorry, that video really triggered me. I don't think Charles likes kids at all, even Camilla's. Fair enough, but they're still his children, though. His sperm brought those kids to life. At the very least, if he isn't going to be a father to them, he should give them a safe environment. Yeah, so I think for me, in closing, I personally, do you know what I think? I will be shocked, and you guys, please feel free to argue, to let me know your thoughts. I will be shocked Charles gives, if Charles gives Harry security to bring his kids before he dies. Who wants to bet with me? I would be shocked, frankly. I think what will force his hand is if they keep on shaming him about it. Like that New York Times article was scathing. It was scathing. They didn't hold back. They dragged him. Contrary to what the British press is doing, they're like, nah, Charles, this is bad. This is spoiling your reputation. Don't blame Harry. This is on you, mate. Go and fix this. So yeah. 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 I mean, don't get me wrong. Charles has his own mommy problems as well. But still, these are his babies, his kids, and I would hope that now that cancer is killing him, as we don't come and fight me. I'm just saying. You would think that at this moment of, oh, I could die literally in a moment, hearing my son tell everybody that I don't even know what state you're in. I think that to me is his last act of wickedness, frankly. Not allowing Harry to know what state he's in. And I would drag William into this as well. William is an asshole. This is your brother. You may hate his wife for whatever reason, but you can at least let your sibling know the state of your father. I think that's the least they can do. Let your brother know your father's health. Because he clearly wants to know. I think he probably even cares more than William at this point. I think William should find a way to. I also hate when they say things like, oh, they don't feel comfortable talking to Harry because he will leak. Harry doesn't have a reputation of leaking. That was never his reputation. Might be. TNO, that might be the case, Who knows? We will never know. Because Charles is not talking to us. He isn't talking to his mouthpiece isn't telling anybody anything. And I think it's very cruel that I think, to me, Charles should at least let Harry know how he's doing. I think it's very cruel what he's doing. Because Harry has come to the BBC to say, I'm happy to reconcile with you as long as we put all our cards on the table. I want to know how you are doing. I want you to meet your grandkids before you die. But this is not tenable. I don't think what he's asking for is impossible. Do you know what I think? I think since Charles can fly all over the world, if Charles doesn't want to give Harry security, I still don't understand what's stopping Charles from going to go and see his grandchild. That's what I'm saying. That there's no argument you want to give this thing that makes sense. Charles can literally take a flight from England to Australia, which is about 20 hours away. But he can't take a 6, 7, 8 hour flight to go and see his grandkids in California. According to him, his hands are tied, right? He can't help them get security in the UK. Okay, name a place that I can meet you. Come to California, where I have security, and see your kids. He didn't even attend his granddaughter's christening. Like I said, don't get me started on Will and Kate. Will and Kate are young. This mess is their legacy. But Charles, it's a shame. It's a real shame. But yeah, this was a really good chat, guys. TNO. Yeah, we might never know. We still don't know what magical cancer that Kate has. Personally, I think I have reached the point where I don't believe for a second Kate had cancer. I don't think she did. Exactly, TNO. I don't believe Kate had cancer. I'm sorry. There's too much evidence that she didn't have cancer. There's too much evidence that she didn't have cancer. And they keep dragging it out as if we're stupid. But it's okay. Yeah. C'est la vie. Guys, this has been a wonderful chat. I really enjoyed talking to you, with you. Thank you for all the super chats. Oh my God, I feel so overwhelmed. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you. I will not be doing this if you guys didn't show up. So even if it's 3 of you, 5 of you, 10 of you, all of you are loved and you are deeply appreciated. We have a tiny community here and I'm grateful. I will try and do, I don't believe that one has cancer. We can have let's see, I was trying to do this in a bit more consistency. because yes, we have the COAF to react to. We can do another. Oh wow, 53. That's amazing. Oh, maybe the horse is preventing him. Please, please, please. I don't buy that for a minute. He doesn't want to talk to his child. He's a nasty human being. But yeah, I will do another super chat on sorry, I'll do another chat on Friday. Let's have a roundup. I have a feeling that we'll get more news. I'm not sure if it's because I feel like weekends when we get something, but I'll do something on Friday. Yeah, I'll try and make it consistent so we can at least have something to start the weekend with. Maybe Friday night if you guys are up for it. Or Saturday. Actually, you know what? We could do Saturday. You know what? I'll do Saturday evening because then any news we can do a roundup, right? I have a feeling that we will hear something this week. Nowadays we tend to hear from them weekly, so I look forward to it. Yeah, so guys, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you. Oh yeah, of course, TNO, thank you so much. And yeah, let's catch up again on Saturday. If something nah, I think Saturday would be the best so we can round up for the week. Yes, live chats are fun because I feel like it's because we're building a little community. I'm seeing some of you more. I am recognizing you, and it's nice. It feels like we're talking amongst friends, and yeah, I've loved this experience. Thank you so much for making my life good and healthy and safe, and I hope you feel safe too to have these conversations. And yeah, blessings to you all. Have a good, safe one wherever you are all over the world. And I'll catch up with you on Saturday evening so we can catch up on the tea. Take care, guys. Bye.